Welcome, everyone. Minnesota Lynx fans, WNBA fans, Atlanta Dream fans. Boy, what a game. What a game. So the playoffs are in about 3 weeks, but this felt like a playoff game. It definitely did. There have been a number of games this past week that have been definite playoff previews. And, everybody's playing for playoff position. They're playing for some teams are playing for their playoff lives. It's just been great. Everybody's, leaving it all on the court. Just wonderful. Just wonderful. So you had Minnesota going to Atlanta in that tiny gym there and duking it out with the Atlanta Dream. And it was entertaining. That's for sure. So before I forget, if you can hit that subscribe button, really appreciate it. So the Atlanta Dream squeak away with a 75-73 victory. The game was close throughout. Atlanta took the lead in the first, 25-24. Then they added another point in the second, 17-16. So they were up by 2 at halftime. And then Minnesota came back in the third and outscored them 20-12. So they had a 6-point lead at the end of the third, but then Atlanta, they, eked it out, and 21-13 for Minnesota. Minnesota seemed like they couldn't buy a basket in the fourth. And just too many missed shots. Too many missed shots. So Atlanta is now solidly in second place with a 23-13 record, and they have New York, Vegas, and Phoenix behind them with 14 losses. So things are getting really interesting. And then Minnesota still has a 6-point lead in the standings, and they are 28-7. So Atlanta had 34 points in the paint to Minnesota's 30. They had 16 second chance points to Minnesota's 5. That was what was happening. They'd get the rebounds, and then they'd be able to even if they missed, which they definitely shot worse than Minnesota. Minnesota shot, their percentages were better than Atlanta's. But they were getting, they were hustling after the rebounds and getting them, putting them back up. Minnesota had double the fast break points, so they outdid them there. But Minnesota had 18 turnovers. 18. That's bad for them. And then Atlanta got 22 points off those turnovers. Atlanta did fairly well. They had 12 turnovers, and Minnesota only got 15. Right there's the game. You have 7. That's 7-point difference. That's the game because Minnesota outshot them. They shot 41% as a team, 45% from 3. But they only went to the foul line 8 times, and Atlanta went 13. So they got double the free throws than Minnesota did, because Minnesota made 6 and Atlanta made 12. They both made 9 3-point shots, but Atlanta took 11 more. So their 3-point percentage was 29% versus Minnesota's 45%. Minnesota also shot 41% from the floor, and Atlanta was 38%. Minnesota had 4 players in double figures, and Atlanta, it was basically Allisha Gray and Rhyne Howard. The one thing I'm noticing with Atlanta, they've been kind of like a live by the 3, die by the 3 kind of team, but they have Bree Jones and Brittany Griner, which are 2 of the most dominant bigs in the game. And another game, here it is again, they're not utilizing them like they should. I don't know why they keep throwing up these threes. And, they eked this game out, but they shouldn't have won. They eked it out, but, Allisha Gray played well. So that was a benefit for them. She had 27 points. She was their leading scorer. And she shot 10 for 21 overall, 47%. That's a good percentage. She also shot 37% from 3 and she was 4 for 5 from the foul line. But what's happening is since Canada went down, Rhyne, instead of using Pow Pow, they're using Rhyne Howard as a point guard, which, I hope it works for them. But Rhyne Howard, and I like Rhyne Howard as a player. I think she's fantastic, but she's playing too much hero ball. The last game that they lost, she was dribbling and dribbling and dribbling, and then the 24-second shot clock would go off. And she's forcing up shots. She was 2 for 11 from 3. You had teammates that shot much better percentage. I mean, the thing that helped her was one of those threes came right in the end there when they really needed it. So, I mean, I get she's a really good player, and you can see why she wants to do that. But it's usually not something that works if you rely on one person. We'll see if that happens. I mean, we'll see if she continues to do that. And if it works for Atlanta, I mean, for their sake, I hope it works. But it usually doesn't. She was 5 for 20 overall, 25%. She was 18% from 3. She's got to work her teammates in. Unless you're, on a heater and you're dropping everything that you throw up. I get that. But, one of the crucial things in this game was Minnesota had 18 turnovers. And Atlanta had 12 steals. That's a lot of steals. A lot of steals. And it was a number of players. Allisha Gray had 3. Howard had 2. Hillman had 1. Brianna Jones had 2. Pow Pow had 2. Brittany Griner had 1. Walker Kimbrough had 1. So, and then they also had 8 blocks. Minnesota only had 2. Alana Smith got 2 of them. I'm hoping it works for Atlanta, but I've watched a lot of basketball in my day and played a lot, and usually that does not work. Anyway, and, here you have a good three-point shooter, Naz Hillman. She only got 2 points. 9 rebounds. She only took 2 threes. She was 1 for 6 overall. Bree Jones at 8 points. She was 4 for 6. Pow Pow at 8 points. She was 3 for 10. She shot decently from 3, but overall she didn't shoot very well. But she had 4 assists and 3 rebounds. She had 2 steals. Maya Caldwell had 8 points. She was 2 for 3, all from the 3-point line. Brittany Griner had 6 points. She had 8 rebounds. She only took 5 shots. You have someone on your team that is 6'9". That is bigger than anybody else in the WNBA. And she took 5 shots. I don't get it. Kimbrough, no points for her. And then Mia Coffey, she didn't score either. She got 2 blocks, though, an assist and a rebound. So that's it for Atlanta. Then you had Minnesota. Minnesota had a little bit of that kind of hero ball going on with Courtney Williams, which that didn't work for them. They had 4 players in double figures, which was good, but, Courtney Williams took 14 shots. She only made 3 of them. She was 0 for 2. She usually, all this year she's been making a good percentage. This was not her night. She should have distributed a little more. I mean, she still got 9 assists, but she also had 5 turnovers. So, and she had 5 rebounds. So, I mean, she's always trying hard, and I get it, but, at some point you gotta, stop taking the ball, dribbling it down, and going 1-on-5. She did that. She didn't do it all the time, but she did do that a few times at crucial moments, and she's used to coming through in those, but it doesn't usually work that well. So you had Carlton with 6 points. She had 6 rebounds. 16 points. She was 4 for 8 from 3. See, feed her some more. She's hitting. Feed her some more. She was 5 for 13 overall, 38 points. 38%. Alana Smith, 10 points. She had 6 rebounds. She was 4 for 7. She hit 2 threes. Jessica Shepard was a beast under the boards. 15 points, 16 rebounds. She had 4 assists. She had a steal. She was 7 for 9. They should have kept, I mean, they did feed her quite a bit, but they should have kept doing that. And then Kayla McBride, 15 points. She had 4 turnovers. She had 4 assists and 2 steals. She was 3 for 5 from 3. Why not feed Kayla McBride a little more? You know, they were all over her, though, too. And I don't recall her scoring in the fourth quarter. She might have, but I don't think so. She was 6 for 12 overall, but most of that was in the first half. So Kundalikova had 4 points. Heidemann only had 4 points. She usually scores more. But too many minutes. All the starters had, except for Courtney Williams, everybody had well into the 30-minute mark. That's going to, you know, you're coming down the stretch here. You have a 6-game lead. You know, rest your starters a little bit. But, you know, it was a close game, so I guess they couldn't. Minnesota shot 41% as a team, 45% from 3. Atlanta shot 38% and 29% from 3. So, Minnesota out-rebounded them 42-34. But the big glaring difference was the turnovers and the points off turnovers. That's what won Atlanta the game. So, very exciting game to watch. Just fantastic, down to the wire. Just the way we like them as fans. So, anyway, this is a preview of what's to come. And hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.